Hello and what's up, peoples? As you can see by what you're seeing on the screen, and if you happen to read the video title down below, today we're going to be looking at this Oculus Quest 2, and the issue with it, or the main issue, is this camera is pretty shattered and broken. If I can zoom you in here a bit, be able to kind of see what it looks like compared to some of the other ones. So there's that camera. There's one of the bottom ones, one of the other bottom ones, and the other one. As you can see, the lens on this one is completely shattered. So what happened to this thing was, it actually belongs to a friend and neighbor of ours, and I don't remember, he said he got it from his brother or brother-in-law or something like that, and he said he had it out for like 20 minutes or something like that, went to adjust the strap, somehow it slipped off his hands, it fell and landed on their tile floor. And unfortunately, it happened to hit just at the right spot to shatter that lens there. And so he went to go try to use it again, but after that, it just didn't seem to want to do anything. And it's kind of unclear if it's because the unit can't like detect an image or something from that sensor, or if something else was affected. I was actually going to try to record what it does, but the battery's dead right now, and I didn't find out until like I was about to start recording. But needless to say, it just basically it powers up. It seems to go through like a boot process, but before you're actually able to do anything, it just sort of shuts off. So yeah, we're going to try to replace that and see if it alleviates the issues. And I've already gone and purchased a replacement camera, which I hope is the right one. Unfortunately, I couldn't really find too much information about whether or not all the cameras in this thing were different, like the physical connection. There was a teardown actually that somebody did and on one of these things, and they showed a bunch of pictures, but they did not show like the part that I actually wanted to see, which was like where these cameras actually connect. So fingers crossed that this camera will work for us. And another thing that I actually kind of needed to get, because I did not know, is that these units, they're held together with a few Torx screws, but they are super tiny. And unfortunately, the only Torx that I had at the time was a T4. And as you can see, I've already kind of taken a couple off here. And the way I did those is I used like a tiny flathead screwdriver, and I was able to get one off, and then the other one, the tip on it broke. So I decided to just spring and get myself a small set here of actual tiny Torx bits here. And this one, it's a it uses a T2, so T2 fits perfectly in those little tiny screws there. So it's a lot more painless to get it out with the proper tool versus trying to stick a small flathead in these. So that's what we're going to be using. But before we actually get started and trying to tear this thing apart, I'm going to ask you guys if you could please kind of go up there instead, and that way you can get like a kind of like a top-down view. So yeah, if you please, can you just go watch from up there, please? All right, that is much better. Thank you guys. Okay, so let's we're gonna start by taking off the straps here. These just pop off the sides, and then we're gonna undo that one, pull it through, and that gets this out of the way, because it is very annoying to try to maneuver around it. And let's finish taking off the rest of these screws. All right, so there's all the screws off, and I think that should allow us to just pop this out somehow, but I have no experience taking one of these apart, so I guess your guess is as good as mine if you haven't either. Okay, so it looks like the secret is using multiple tools at a time, and even then it tries to snap back in. There it goes. Okay, so there is a catch right here on this side, and I'm guessing there's going to be one on this side as well. Okay, I see. So as soon as this thing pries up enough on this side, it's able to move far enough that it releases. So on the opposite side, I'm going to push this black piece here in as much as possible, and that should allow. There we go. That's it. That's the secret. Okay, now this. Okay, I need to get back in here. They should come out, and apparently there's a small cable up here, and that just has a tiny little connector down there. Let me zoom into that right there. Okay, so this type of connector, it just that little tab right there lifts up just like that, and that releases that ribbon. So cool. There we go. We see some gearing right here. That's for the distance on the lenses there. So that kind of adjusts how like wide your eyes are apart to make it so that it's you see the image in focus. And let's see, got speaker on that side, speaker on that side. Some other stuff. I'm guessing these are going to be like the antennas. We got a Philips, small little tiny Philips right there. Zoom out a bit here, it's like not focusing properly. And I think, okay, looks like we got another small Philips on this corner, down up here, in there, and in there. So let's go ahead and undo those and see where that gets us. I'm guessing maybe after removing all these, everything else is going to come out through the front, because it doesn't look like there's a lot of room around the edges of this white part to allow everything to kind of come up like in this direction. So it looks like after we remove all that, it's going to go in that direction. And there is a video on YouTube. I don't remember the name of the guy off the top of my head, but he does go through and do an entire teardown of these things. I haven't watched it, to be honest, so I'm kind of going into this blind. I just know it exists. Okay, the one down here, I can't get my tool to be able to get stuck in there. It's a little too fat. So I need a smaller one, or skinnier one. Okay, this one should work, even though it's not very long, but okay, yeah, that reaches. I can already kind of feel the front feeling kind of loose. Oh, getting this screw back in there is going to be fun. Yeah, we can see the front starting to separate some. A little bit, not too much though. Okay, I see a couple more screws. There's one down in there, like where the tip of that screwdriver is. So let's try to get that out. And the speakers are right here, so these screws keep getting pulled to the speakers. See, there's two over on that side. Yeah, there's a screw down in there. And then there's another one down there. And there's another one on this side, actually. But this one's not really accessible, but it's like right in that area right there by where the speaker is kind of blocking. So I can't. They're in a really bad spot. All right. Looks like, yeah, this just pops off. I just kind of stuck it in there and I realized it was separating. So yeah, there we go. So I guess it just required removing some of the screws. I guess we'll find out which ones as soon as I pull this part off. And I'm gonna need to run this along the bottom too. There it goes. There we go. Hey, look at the little tiny fan. But anyways, let's see. So definitely these two on the bottom. There's no screw there because these are not, they're not threaded at all, but these are. So it's yeah, it was the first the four that I mentioned that need to come off. So that allows this front cover to come off. Whew, there's a lot of screws that I guess got to figure out which ones are important to remove and which ones aren't. Well, the area we're interested in is right here, so maybe we don't need to take the whole thing apart. There is a screw on this plastic bracket there, and another one right there. This plastic, oh, this is like rubber. Oh, that comes off easily. Cool. Okay, it looks like, let's see, there's a number here on the camera. Let's see if it matches the one that I just got. 33078. Yep, it looks, I'm guessing that number on the bottom might be a manufacturing date, but it appears that the camera itself is probably the same model. Let's go ahead and try to remove that then and see if we're able to get to that camera just by taking this off here. Looks like maybe it will, but who knows? And there is another screw right there holding that. It's just a small bracket for the little snap-in connector, just to hold it down so it doesn't come off on you. Alright, let's see. So we can take that plate off. Unless it's screwed on the other side, it can't. Oh man. Oh, no. So it just, there's a, okay, that's not gonna work. Let's see, this connector here appears to go, well, it's blocking our way, so let's go ahead and remove it. And this type of connector, it just pops straight up like that. It comes out. And this one has the tab on the back, so that just lifts up this way. Like that. And then this can slide out. Probably better if I do it from these tabs here so I don't risk damaging it. And it's refusing to budge. Okay, it's just because it's stiff. There it goes. So this tape, just gonna try to gently lift it up so we can reuse it. Without tearing. There we go. I might be able to just remove the screws for the camera and disconnect this ribbon here because that's where it's connected. So this, I should be able to, yeah, just like that. I should have enough room to pull out the camera without having to do anything else. So let's just go ahead and try that. That might be the easiest route we can take at the moment. I'm going to use the other screwdriver. It has a thinner shank there that, yeah, doesn't rub on the plastic. So, okay, that screws out. And that screw's gone. Well, I mean, it's not gone, it's just loose. Okay, there we go. So now the camera, it appears to be mounted on this copper plate here, probably for heat sinking. Oh yeah, it's got paste in the back. That's why this one looks kind of, the new one looks kind of like it's had something on it. So I'm probably I'm gonna give that a little bit of a cleaning before we stick it in there. But that should come out. Come on. Oh, okay, it's got some like foam tape on the connector and it's kind of sticking, so I'm just gently prying on it to try to get it to release, and there it goes. So, oh yeah, it was like, it's double-sided tape down in there. You can see it. I'm not going to touch it because I don't want to get some of that grease on it, but it looks like it's got plenty of grease on there, so I probably won't worry too much about applying any more. I'll just spread it out a little bit, and once this tightens down, it should make pretty good contact there. So let's set that down for a second, and I'm going to go ahead and clean this. See, this one looks like it has foam. Oh, it probably came from a, yeah, because this was a pole, so it came from a different location. Sorry about that, it's kind of blurry there, but let's go ahead and remove this. There we go. Now it's nice and flat. And there's the two cameras side by side. As you can see, they both pretty much look identical. And this one was actually, when I bought this, I bought it on eBay. It was actually sold as one of the bottom cameras. But I hadn't taken this unit apart yet, so I didn't know if, this was going to be able to replace this camera. But it looks like it's the same. I don't have any reason to believe that, this shouldn't work. But the problem was I couldn't find any images of what it actually looked like in that position. So I kind of just bit the bullet and bought it because I could not find any information indicating that whether or not, they were all the same or not. So we're going to go ahead and install it now. So I've already spread some of this stuff around here a little bit already, just to kind of help the back of that little camera module make some good thermal contact. All right, here we go. Transplant operation. Okay, this connector here is in the way, and it's not allowing me to put it back in. Don't really see an easy way to take that off, so I I'm just going to try my best to maneuver around it. There we go. I kind of got it to lift up a little bit. I need to be able to stick the connector in there so I can snap the other one on top of it. Okay. There we go. It's positioned. Okay. And it has these little pegs that it fits on the corners. So now that's lined up. I can go ahead and put the screws that hold it down on. There's one. I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down. Once I get it all lined up, then I'll put snap the connector back on. So there's one screw. Wait a second. That screw does not go here. This is the shortest of the screws that I removed from this area, and this is going to go to holding that plate down. So the other ones are actually slightly different. It doesn't have like huge threads or anything like that. Those are the ones that go in the corners. Alright, both of these screws, I feel like they're fairly snug in there. I'm not going to like crank them all the way down because they are screwing into plastic, so I don't want to strip it. But now I can try to get this connector to line up in there. And then I'm going to try to snap it down. That feels like it's sort of seated, but now I just got to push down on it and it should snap in place. I cannot tell. That feels pretty good. Okay, so now I got to try to position this plate back over it. And it's sort of slid down some, and it's in an awkward position at the moment, so I need to try to get it to go back up. When I first wanted it to move down, it refused. Now that I'm trying to move it back up, it's been kind of a pain. Okay, and there we go. I think now I just gotta try to hold it here while I get the screw ready for that. Oh my goodness. I should have just done it with the tweezers. Oh my. Why you no go in? Alright, try to drop it out. There it goes. Let's try it again from a different angle. I gotta get this thing back in place to that position there. And there we go. Okay, cool. Now let's tighten it down. No, don't wobble. No! Aye! Oh my freaking. Alright, 5th time or so is the charm. Okay, it's there. It's just that I'm having a hard time getting it started on those threads. There it goes. Okay. Whew. That wasn't a pain or anything. Okay. Alright, let's get this little wire that was kind of pointless to remove, and this copper tape that was kind of pointless to remove. Get those back down. Well, actually, I should probably pop this ribbon back in here, which was also was pointless to remove. And snap. Oh, snap. Alright. No, it hasn't snapped yet. There we go. Now we got the snap. Oh, snap. Alright, cool. We got the 2 screws here to put back on. Not that they're necessary for testing or anything. I'm actually going to try to test this before putting it all back together. After I put these screws on, we're going to cut the video for now. I'm going to allow the unit to charge, and then we'll come back and we'll test it, because yeah, the battery's totally flat and it's not going to do anything. So this piece went something like this. Alright, let's charge it up. It's been some time later. This thing has had a chance to sit here on the charger, and this light is green now. So we're going to unplug that. And I am going to reconnect this lens piece up in the front, or I don't know, the face piece or whatever. I don't know. But anyways, there is apparently, I'm guessing this might be like some little slide switch in here, because this little thing that I'm moving here is like an indicator of where the eyepieces are kind of like positioned. So like all the way out here would be like 3, and like all the way inside is 1. So well, I'll just put it on 1 there. I don't know if that's going to affect anything, so I'm just going to connect it just to eliminate any potential problems. Okay, that is attached now. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to record this somehow, but let's see if maybe I can zoom into it. Maybe we'll be able to see what's going on in there. I should probably turn off lights as well. Alright, that is about as dark as I can make it in here. So I'm hitting the power button now. Holding it down just for a sec. See if it comes on. Okay. I'm probably not going to be able to see anything, but it is on. Yeah, I can't tell if anything's going on in there. Let me look inside. No, don't see anything going on. If you're wondering why this thing keeps like flashing like that, it's because of I have a monitor in front of me here that I'm actually watching the sun as I work on it. So every time I kind of like shine the white part up here, it reflects some of the light towards the camera, and then it kind of like washes everything out. But let's try turning it back on. There, I hit the power button. I would think it would work now. Okay, so I think I figured it out. It appears to be working. The problem is if you don't have your face like in front of this thing, it doesn't show anything on the displays. And as soon as I put it up to my eyeballs, I see three little dots come on, and I see the controller actually shows up on the interface here, and I can see. I guess I can push stuff. It appears to be working. Yeah, it's definitely working now. Before it didn't even get to like any of the menus. It would just like come on, and it would act like it was going to start working, but then it would just shut off. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that has something to do with the cameras. But it appears to be working fine now. So you can kind of saw some flickering there. So I'm going to go ahead and reassemble everything, put all the screws back on, and looks like it should be fine. Oh, and it turns out there's 5 screws that hold the front in place. So it's the corners, and also this one center one down here. I didn't notice it till now because I was trying to get all the screws for this thing. So there's like several different sizes here, like and the heads are actually a little bit flatter on these than they are on these. So I have a feeling that these probably go along the bottom, and these two right here probably go up at the top. And then I just have a bunch of the only thing I have left is a bunch of smaller ones. Here's another little tiny Phillips, and I think that was one of the ones that went in here that I took out. And I think there's another one of those yeah, right here. So there's 2 more of those that I need to put back in here before I put the cover on, just so I don't get everything confused. Everything else is the smaller T2 that hold this black face piece in place. I tried turning this thing off, but by hitting the power button, and I thought it was off, but it keeps coming back on, and I guess it thinks that I'm putting my face in here or something. I'm not entirely sure how these things work. Like I said, I've never used one of these before, so I'm kind of working on it while it's powered up, which may not be a good thing, but I'm trying to be careful. Okay, I think I powered it off for good now. I went into it pulls up a menu if you push this button, and then you got to use the controller to navigate to it, tell it to turn it off. So I'm pretty sure now it's completely off. And yeah, this LED up here turned off. That one was just constantly white. So looks like we are powered off now. I feel a little safer working on this thing. So, well, there's not much left to put on. I gotta put this front piece back on. Yeah, like that. And that just all snaps back into place. That's all good. I'm going to just temporarily remove this again for now because it's I don't want to tear that ribbon. It's already really thin. All right, the last 2 screws, well, on the inside. Still got to deal with the outer ones. Okay, so this connector in the front has these tiny little tabs up here in the front, so it kind of needs to go in at an angle before it'll sit down into that connector. So it's got to be sort of like inserted, and then it kind of sits down a bit, and then you pull this tab and snap it down, and then that secures it. so that it can't easily come off. So there we go, that's attached. Make sure that the lenses are all the way in so that this thing indexes properly, and then this should just snap in on each side. But no, yeah, this side has snapped in. There we go. So okay, the last 6 screws. Let's make sure this thing works in here. 1 2 3, 1 2 3. Okay, yeah, perfect. And there we go. There we go. It's fully assembled again. Only thing left to do is put the strap back on. Oh, I guess I should have done it before putting this thing on. And that piece. Just like a hair embedded in there. There we go. Get this thing to snap in. There we go. There we go. And good as new. What broken camera? Okay, so I've had a chance to kind of test it out, and it's definitely working now, as opposed to when it had the camera here broken. It's actually able to show you like the menus, and it comes up past it like, I don't know, it like shows these it's like a bubble background, and usually after it would do that, it would just completely blank out, and then it wouldn't do anything anymore. But now it actually gets past that. It lets you select your language and go to like the setup and all that stuff. But I don't have a login or anything for this, and requires to be connected to Wi-Fi. But it's definitely working now. So looks like for sure dropping it and breaking this camera was causing problems. So that's it. All right, guys, thanks for watching once again. See you guys around the bench. Man, so flicker warning for sure, but I was I quite literally strapped the headset to my camcorder so I could try to get what it actually looks like in there. And as you can see, it is working. I can like, yeah, like none of this was showing up before, but now it is. So, well, there we go.